Imagine a queen in a glowing palace, dressed in the finest silk, her hair stacked high like an elegant sculpture, and pearls glistening on her neck. From a distance, she looks like a living goddess. But take a step closer and your nose curls. Her hair is crawling with lice, her skin hasn't touched water in weeks, and no perfume, no matter how expensive, can hide the foul odor beneath. Welcome to the dirty truth about royal women. We often picture queens and noble ladies as perfect, clean, and graceful. But centuries ago, even the most powerful women lived in filth, stank to high heaven, and endured conditions we wouldn't wish on our worst enemies. Today, we're uncovering 5 of the most disgusting hygiene practices royal women actually lived with. These habits are so horrifying, you'll be shocked they were considered normal. If you think royal life was all ball gowns and fairy tales, think again. Today, bathing is basic. Most of us can't imagine going a day without a shower, but back in the 1600s and 1700s, especially in France, royal women avoided bathing was poison. Why? Because doctors at the time believed that hot water opened your pores and let in dangerous bad air that caused sickness. Bathing too often, they said, made women weak or even sinful. Religious leaders warned against bathhouses, calling them places of vanity and temptation. So instead of soap and water, royal women used cloths dipped in alcohol, vinegar, or even their own spit to wipe down their hands and faces. The rest of the body left untouched. When a bath did happen, it was anything but clean. Families often shared one tub of water. Men bathed first, then children, and women last, stepping into cold, murky, used water filled with dead skin, sweat, and grime. Palaces like Versailles might have looked heavenly, but they smelled like a rotting sewer. Guests wrote home about the horrific stencher, mix of unwashed bodies, musty clothes, cheap perfume, and mold. Under those fancy dresses and layers of powder, royal women were filthy. Glamorous on the outside, disgusting underneath. Now picture this: a massive palace with hundreds of rooms, glittering chandeliers, and thousands of noble guests. But barely any toilets. Versailles had almost no bathrooms. Instead, nobles including royal ladies used chamber pots, small bowls tucked under beds or behind curtains. When nature called, they'd go in the pot, and someone, usually a servant, would throw it out the window. If you happened to be walking by, too bad, you might be hit with a foul surprise raining from above. The gardens, though beautiful in paintings, were often used as makeshift toilets. Men urinated off balconies, some used stairwells or corners of the hallway. Versailles didn't just stink, it got so out of hand. The king had to issue a rule: clean the palace once a week, not after each event, not even daily. Just once a week. That was considered an improvement. And what about wiping? No toilet paper existed. People used rags, hay, leaves, or even their bare hands. Most didn't wash afterward. Diseases spread fast, parasites were everywhere, and royal women, they had to walk carefully, not just to look elegant, but to avoid stepping in human waste. Luxury? Maybe. Cleanliness? Absolutely not. Royal hairstyles were massive, some over a foot tall. These were more than just hairdos. They were architectural marvels made from wire, horsehair, cotton, and layers of animal fat to hold it all together. Women decorated them with feathers, pearls, flowers, even miniature ships. But underneath the glamour lived a nightmare: lice. Because washing hair was rare and wigs were never cleaned, lice colonies thrived. These tiny creatures bit and crawled across women's scalps day and night. To manage the constant itching, noble ladies carried elegant tools called lice claws, pretty silver sticks with hooked ends. During balls and dinners, they'd subtly scratch their heads under the wigs, sometimes even in front of royalty. The wigs weren't just itchy, they were dangerous. Some were so heavy, they caused back pain. Others caught fire from candlelit halls. Poorer women had a solution: shave their heads. But for noble women, going bald meant social death. So instead, They hid bug-infested wigs under their crowns and smiled through the suffering. Power had a price, and sometimes that price was living with a zoo on your scalp. Royal feasts sound dreamy. Golden plates, roasted meats, flowing wine, music in the background. But behind the scenes, spoiled food, dirty kitchens, and plague-worthy conditions. Versailles had terrible plumbing. At times, raw sewage backed up into the kitchens. Even Queen Marie Antoinette's private cooking space flooded with wastewater. There were no refrigerators. Meat spoiled quickly. Fruit sat out 4 days. Rats and flies ran wild, yet servants still had to prepare and serve the food. The results: constant stomach pain, vomiting, diarrhea, and parasites. Tapeworms were extremely common. Some grew several feet long inside the intestines. Even King Louis XIV suffered from them. And the royal women, they were expected to sit gracefully, smile, flirt, and nibble delicately even when their insides were twisting in agony. Keeping up appearances was more important than health. The table looked exquisite, but often it was a feast of disease. And now, something truly heartbreaking: childbirth. You'd think a queen would be allowed peace and privacy to bring a child into the world. But in the 17th and 18th centuries, childbirth was a public event. Why? Because people feared that if a royal baby was stillborn or born a girl, someone might secretly swap it for a healthy boy. So, the queen had to give birth in front of dozens of witnesses, often strangers. When Queen Marie Thérèse gave birth, the room was packed to the point of suffocation. Marie Antoinette fainted after giving birth, not from the pain, but from the heat, the pressure, and the crowd. Doctors didn't wash their hands. Tools weren't sterilized. No painkillers. No antibiotics. Childbirth was one of the deadliest events in a woman's life. Many mothers died. So did many babies. In fact, 1 in 3 children didn't live past the age of 3. For royal women, childbirth wasn't joyful. It was terrifying, painful, and deeply humiliating. But they had no choice. They had to smile and suffer for the sake of the crown. So now you know. Beneath the lace, jewels, and powdered faces, royal life was filthy, painful, and downright revolting. These women may have looked like queens, but they lived with lice, parasites, public shame, and unimaginable discomfort. They had power, wealth, and beauty, but couldn't enjoy it. Not when they were scratching their heads, vomiting from spoiled meat, and walking through waste-filled hallways. So next time you dream about being a princess or queen, thank your lucky stars. You live in the modern world, because in the courts of the past, everything glittered on the outside, but underneath, it stank. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more shocking stories from history right here on